Welcome to the Dynamics Hot Dish Podcast. Whether you're a tech enthusiast or novice, there's something here for everyone. I'm Liz.
And I'm Allie, and together we're your hosts.
Join us as we dive into the world of technology, implementation, and management.
From hearing expert insights to exploring inspiring stories of tech impact, we cover it all.
We'll interview technology users, configurators, and leaders where we discuss driving effective tech adoption in businesses.
Tune in to laugh, learn, and leverage the power of technology. The future is tech-driven. Let's navigate it together.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Dynamics Hot Dish. We have a special episode this week because we're recording live from DynamicsCon Live in Denver, Colorado. We've spent the last 3 days on site here, and we've all been attending a lot of really great sessions. And here we have some of our graduates from the TechFluent program to talk about their first experience at DynamicsCon Live. Not the first conference for everybody, but first DynamicsCon Live experience. And so Liz and I are going to be talking with Maryam, Phil, Tafe, Christabell, and Erika. So thank you guys for joining us. As we get started here, Maryam, you can answer our first question, and we'll give you an easy one. What has been your experience so far this week? What do you think about the conference?
Hello, everyone. It has been great so far. This was my first time ever coming to a conference, and it was my first time presenting. But it was great to see how amazing and supporting the community is. And as a beginner in Dynamics, I got to attend really good sessions. So I thought I learned a lot. Super excited.
Can you share something that you've learned this week?
So there are things that I have seen people use like about Power Platform, but one of the sessions that I attended, it was about cards in Power Apps and how can you use it. And that was the only session where no one talked about Copilot. So apparently there is no Copilot help available for that. I'm not sure that I'm gonna be using those, but I thought that that was something, it exists and no one talks much about it. So I learned how to use it. And um, so I personally, that I think that was one of my favorite sessions kind of thing. And then there was one person from Microsoft there is a lot of talk about Copilot, but I think she was able to give a very good and deep description or demo how you should be using Copilot. So I think I would highlight those two sessions.
Thank you for having us at the Hot Dish Chit Chat, coming to you live from Denver. Well, for me, the most exciting part about, this conference was actually to go to the help desk. I was able to go to utilize the help desk. I had questions about Business Central, and they were able to help me, assist me. I'm going to tell my boss, hey, I'm a genius, but some of the sessions were really great. One of the sessions that I really enjoyed was how to use Copilot in BC with BC. That one, actually opened my eyes because I was like, I've never actually thought of using it. But, once they demonstrated it, I was like, oh, I could actually do a lot of work with, Copilot AI, with BC and stuff like that. So that was really great. And just being a lucky winner of the ticket to, DynamicsCon Live, I kind of feel like, everything that I won, was a win-win-win for me because I was winning all the way.
I really want to appreciate DynamicsCon for this opportunity to attend the conference. When I saw that they advertised it, and immediately I was excited to go, but I didn't know how I would able to participate. But I'm so happy, and I was even willing to, to pay, for accommodation. But when Liz said, oh, I would try and ask if they can support, and they supported, so I was really, really, appreciative of that and grateful. Since being here, this is my second conference, and it has been very, very great to really network, meeting people from all across the board, and really enjoying great sessions too many sessions to pick from. Sometimes I felt like I want to go to this one, but then there's another great one that is also happening simultaneously. And I'm thinking, should I join for 5 minutes and then switch over? So I found myself just, maybe choosing the one that I can gain the most experience, that I really want to understand more about. And then I attended that session. So I've attended some great ones, Copilot, as some of my colleagues have mentioned, Copilot with using in model-driven apps. That was very, very great. And I learned a lot how to use Copilot with model-driven apps to just automate. To use it to really drive your processes easily, so that you don't have to be computing things, and you can just prompt it and it can generate tasks for you without you having to do all the handwork yourself, and you can always update that. Another great session that I attended was someone experienced they mentioned with UAT, and that was really good. Even though they presented in Business Central, I felt like I could relate, because the project that we did with Victory Gardens, we had to do a lot of those things that Business Central would do for UTA, and I felt like, oh yeah, I related with every single one, and the advices that she provided. She talked about just making sure that everybody in the team is testing the environment. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't say you're going to do a testing and then you don't test, because then when it goes to production, everything would fail. And I feel like, yeah, that is definitely something that is worth knowing, because you don't want to rely on your team that they will do something and they say they will do and commit to it, and then don't do their own share of the work. And that was really great advice to give. And then also just being able to ensure that you are not really doing the UTA. You want to make sure that your clients, they are also testing, and also you are checking that they are testing and everybody's doing what they need to do. And also and you are not producing anything in the production environment, because you can really damage the whole work that you've done from prior. So I think that was great. I mean, I've had some amazing sessions and a lot to take back with me. Had Power Automate with Mary Myers, and there were some things that she mentioned that I hadn't really encountered before, and I feel like now I'm going to go back and really dive more into it and learn more, so I can really understand. And then with the project that we did too, I realized that you need to understand, in terms of Power Automate, you need to really understand the logic behind the automation. And there was a recommendation to really have like an architectural skills, right, to be able to understand that. And I feel like that's something that I'm probably going to go and work on, because I want to be able to, when I meet with a client and the client is asking for things that are really not that are out of the scope, and I can say from an architecture perspective, I could really determine if that's something that we can do or not do, or it's something that Power Automate can work with or not. So I feel like with that background and that understanding, it will really help with the project that we do. So thank you. I mean, this has been a very great experience for me, and looking forward to more, experiences, at conferences. Yes.
Christabell, one thing that you said that really stood out to me is that your favorite session was probably the user acceptance testing, or UAT one. And I think I love that so much, because it shows that the soft skills that we learn at these conferences are just as important as the technical skills that you gain, because you can't have successful technology deployments without successful testing.
Yes.
Right. And
Yes.
so I think that really highlights the wide array of content that are at these conferences. You can learn about being a BA, you can learn about testing, you can learn about training, and really you bring all those skills together in order to implement like the Power Automate and the Copilot stuff that you had previously mentioned as well.
Right. Awesome. Definitely. I mean, because even what we did was really customer engagement, but all those UTA for Business Central, you can apply it across the board. Communication, yes, when you're doing UTA, you have to communicate with your team. If there's any challenges, or if you encounter any challenges, communicating with your team so that they know hey, this is something that we encounter. Let's try to rectify this issue before we move towards production,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
It's hugely important.
Definitely. So yeah, no, I really appreciate that session. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Erika, what was your experience like?
I've been to quite a few sessions, and again, just like she said, there's so many great speakers with like amazing sessions that overlap, and I feel like that for me was one of the challenges. And so, the night before, I would just be like, okay, I need to strategically plan my day to make sure that I get the content that I need. So, a lot of people we know, we all heard co-pilots here, co-pilots there, but it's just the direction we're moving. I mean, and implementing that to the work that I'm doing right now, I've been going after all of the co-pilot experts and really picking their brains on it, because I've got the content online, but I get to have real answers in real time, face to face. So I've been to a few sessions like that where I've asked questions and ended up with more questions. So it's great to see the way we're going with the technology and all the advancement. I mean, I remember when we first went to Summit last year, that was my first conference, first started to talk about like AI integration, co-pilots. And now that we're actually doing it, like for my current job, I start to play more with AI and just anything co-pilots really. I've been more into it, and the more you dive in it, the more you learn that there's so many things you can do, and being able to be here and actually learn from the industry experts and get the advice from them. It's been really great. So many sessions that have helped me just reassure me that a lot of the things that I've done are great. I attended your session and I was like, I made some of those mistakes and I've learned the hard way, but now I know what not to do.
We all
and,
have.
and it's been nice to like go on that path, and be able to talk about the experience that you've gained from where we were at first at Summit and now at a conference. This is my second conference. And so I feel like this time I have been much more driven to seek the people in the industry, and again just trying to find the answers to what I've been working with. But it's been amazing. I mean, I really like how relevant it is to the type of work that I'm doing, and just mingling with people and seeing them, some of them for the first time or some of them after a while. It's really great, and such an environment that allows you to participate, and it's a great community, can ask questions and just learn from industry experts. So great so far.
Taffy, how about please share your experience? We haven't heard from you yet.
Okay, thank you for giving me the chance to say something about this, my amazing and then exciting experience in this conference. And I got a chance for networking, and then I met amazing people who like to help, willing to help non-experienced people like me, and then talk to me. And then also it was exciting to share experience. Even me myself, we met a young man, and then he was developer struggling with coding stuff, and then we recommended him that we got through our experience how to correct syntax in ChatGPT, and then he was so excited and then happy. So it was exciting, and then we got also a lot of experience from this through attending sessions. And then one to highlight just some of them, automation for hiring process that makes pretty easy, everything automated. Just with automation, you finish recruiting process, signature, providing document. That's so exciting. And when we were working in our project, it was scary to search and then find something in JSON. And now I attended 2 sessions where dealing with Power Automate, and then I learned how to actually not for immediate output, but I took their address and then to further communicate. And then it's not, I think, not anymore scary because I got it how to go with that. And then even how to find something that I'm looking for, like ID, anything from JSON file. And then it makes your life easy once you learn how to make it. That was my great experience here.
Welcome, Sam. Typical conference style. Things, are busy and lots of networking. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about how your week's been and what the conference has been like for you so far?
So I think this is the best week I have spent ever. As you know, as you all know, that we are new to tech, and it's hard for us to find conferences like that has a lot of networking here and a lot of sessions too. Like you network and you study, you learn something new at the same time. So I have done a lot of friends, as Philip says, that I have more friends now in LinkedIn. Yeah, and I learned a lot of things, and I went to, because like after I graduate, my main focus is about CRM, customer engagement. So I almost went to every session and learned a lot of things. And also I learned a lot of new things from the first session that I attend was Miriam's, one of the first coherent, one of the first coherent. And I'm really proud that we made it to this conference this weekend, although all of us have kids and things to do. But being in tech is one of the most important thing for me to do now. And I'm very grateful to Liz and to TechFluent. And I don't know what I will do without TechFluent in my life. Actually, like, impacts a lot of things to me, and I'm really happy to be here. And I spent a wonderful week, and I saw my beautiful and handsome friends, and like we promised that we'd keep in touch more. And also I want to thank Erika too for everything. And yeah, more, I mean, we want more get together in Minneapolis. We should organize one.
We will plan one, yes. And we will create an alumni community too. Now that we have 2 cohorts graduated, we want to do a LinkedIn group and a WhatsApp chat has everyone, not just the conference attendees. But yes, exactly.
Yeah, TechFluent user groups coming up for new cohorts. Join us, learn the ins and outs of going to conferences, what to do, what not to do.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, lessons learned. What would you do differently next time?
I'll go by my experience on the first conference. I did not wear comfortable shoes.
Oh,
and
I'm
we
glad. I
have band-aids if you need them.
Goodness, I walked a lot at Community Summit in North Carolina because my hotel was not far per se, but far enough for me to feel it. I took a scooter and people looked at me weird, but I didn't care. My feet were in pain. But from there, I found a nice CVS and bought a flip-flops. And I had really nice business casual attire with flip-flops. I took that as a topic conversation, and I don't kid around when I say, and Liz knows this, that I've networked with every person I could think of at Community Summit just to, be out there, talk more about the program and what we've done, what we've been through. I think as a group, like they said, all of us have families and responsibilities and work, like real, like full-time jobs, in addition to having to complete the program. And so all of that adds up. And, we had the luck to have amazing mentors and motivational speakers all over really a community that holds you and walks you through the end. When you're like, gosh, I'm so tired, I can't do this anymore, there's someone in there that will take you to the finish line. And so shout out to Scott. I don't know if he will hear this, hopefully he will. He's amazing. Yeah. He's super busy, but he'll always make sure and makes time, and we meet up until now too, every so often to go over life stuff, work stuff, Microsoft things. But yeah, I'm just really proud of where everyone is and how much they've achieved. Everyone should give themselves some credit for all the things that they've achieved up until this point. Really excited for the newer cohorts because they are getting industry expertise through our instructors. And I mean, a lot of them are in the conferences that we attend, and we're able to learn, firsthand from them. So you're prepared for real world. Now that I have a real job and I have to do real work, I'm just so proud of how much I've learned in the program, and I'm just like, oh, I've been through that. I remember the requirements that they asked us during the group project, so I was like, yeah, I'm not new to it, but at the same time, it was just so nice to have been through it through TechFluent and be prepared for a real world project. So now that I'm working with actual clients and have the skills, I'm just much more at ease. I feel like at first I was a little bit afraid because I didn't know how to approach it, but at the end I realized, we are prepared. I mean, we have the skills. We were able to get through our training and through what we've been through just in general with our jobs and everything else. So yeah, I don't remember what the initial question was, but what to do, what not to do. Comfortable shoes, drink lots of water. What else? Have a pen and pencil. Always be prepared for sessions. I'm one person that always asks questions, even if I'm the only person asking a question and people are like, well, I don't want to look dumb. I want to look dumb because if I don't ask the question and I don't get the answer, I'll still be dumb at the end of the day. And, I'll still ask the question and get the answer so that, I'm not having that burning in my head. But that's what I'm doing with a lot of people, a lot of instructors in the sessions right now. So, yeah.
I think that's great advice to not be afraid to ask questions, because if you're thinking it, someone else is too. Exactly. And they might be too shy to speak up. So keep doing that.
Also, on top of that, as speakers, which Erika, you'll know in a moment here, Erika has her session this afternoon, but we really like it when people ask questions because then we also know people are listening. Yeah. So advice for everybody is like, if you raise your hand and ask a question, the speakers are like actually really excited regardless of what the question is. So no dumb questions, ask everything. All right, Maryam, what are your thoughts? What to do, what not to do? Advice for future conference goers?
So when I came, I heard Erika and she was telling about I think she wrote a blog about it, like things not to do, and she mentioned shoes, right? Yulia, okay. So I was like, so me and Ellie had my first session. It was the first session of the conference, and I was super excited. And I thought I'm gonna look fancy. I bought like my heels. I came out of my room. I walked to the elevator, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not gonna survive. Went back to in my room and back into my comfortable shoes, and I am so glad I did it because I was like, this is insane. So yeah, I completely agree with what Erika said. Wear comfortable shoes. Be yourself. Like, wear whatever makes you comfortable. Everyone has a different style of clothing. Like, how do they want to dress up? And again, I'm like one of those people who ask a lot of questions. So ask a lot of questions. I think this is good for engagement. The speakers feel encouraged to, like, they are like people are listening, engaging. So it makes the whole session like more interesting for everyone, I would say. What else I would wanted to see?
My own advice I would give is, because there are just so many sessions to go to, I would say look through the sessions, look through the websites that they have or the app that they have, or the pamphlet that was given for the conferences, and just really pinpoint the ones that you really feel like you need to get more knowledge in, or you really want more understanding in, and just jot those down, and don't go by the fly of the moment. Like, okay, I'm just gonna go to the next one, or I'm just gonna go to whichever one. So you really want to really maximize your time by just highlighting the sessions that you feel like will be most impactful to you and the work that you do, so that the conference will be meaningful. Because if you are, let's say, doing something related to with your customers, right, and you want to learn a little bit more about Power Automate, for example, and then you go to like a model driven app, or you go to like a Power BI session, you're going to find that you didn't really get understanding in that area that you really came for. And maybe the question that you had in mind, or what you thought you would learn, didn't come from those sessions that you went to. So if maybe you are a business central focus, or maybe you are customer engagement focus, or maybe you are F&O, go to some of those sessions that you feel like you can get more experience and more knowledge or more understanding in those areas, so that you get really you can meet with, like earlier said, the instructors, and ask further questions, and reach out to them afterward and say, hey, you presented on this, but after reflecting, I have additional questions for you. Can you share light? And then they can get more for you. So yeah, that's my tip.
Yes, just adding on to what my co-presenters here said, it boils down to planning. You have to plan. Plan. Mainly on your area of interest. If you're interested in Power BI, make sure you follow through with Power BI. And if you're a business central person like I was, make sure you go to all business central sessions. It's helpful, when it comes back to doing your work. And also the networking. Make sure you network with whoever the presenter that presented on that subject matter that you're interested in, and follow through on LinkedIn. They have a lot of postings that they do. There's a lot of discussions that they engage in. Make sure you follow through on those. And at the end of the day, just have fun. Just make sure you're prepared to laugh and stuff like that. This second conference that I'm on now, I'm able to talk about Business Central. At the summit, I didn't know what I was talking about. Now at least I can challenge, some of the presenters. I can ask questions. I'm like, hey, I'm having struggle here. They're like, oh, I don't know what that is, but I'll come back to you, because now I've dug into Business Central. I know a few things about Business Central. So in essence, all I'm saying is just plan, and don't be frozen. Just be out there and have fun. Network with your people, and make sure you have your some of the students, find friends, and hang around with the people that you're comfortable with, and also be open enough to venture into the unknown.
And I would like to add, so this is my second conference, and as someone who is actively looking for work, you should come prepared. Like, prepare your LinkedIn so that you pull it up and prepare your resume, and don't be shy to go talk to the booth. It took me a day to get rid of my shyness and go present myself. Oh, I'm looking for a job. I'm from TechFluent. Have you heard about TechFluent? And they'll be, no, can you tell me more about TechFluent? And I'll start talking about you and Liz, and about TechFluent and Liz. And so do not be shy. You never know. You might knock 100 doors and only one door will open for you. So don't be shy. Go present yourself. And my friend Erika gave me a tip. She told me, if you want to start talking, just find something and grab it and then change it to business. So I found someone, like, funny story. I found some lady in the restroom, like, reapplying her makeup. And I was like, wow, are you reapplying her makeup? She was like, yeah, I had a bad day. So we start talking about makeup. And then at the end, I end up giving her my resume and everything. So that I use her tip, actually. Yeah, that's it.
you were doing a good job because I literally just went out to go get coffee and then had a 30-minute conversation with someone that's like, I just met one of your grads and I'm going to hire her. So, so hopefully there's a job offer coming your way after this conference.
Yes. Okay, I want to add a little more thing about my excitement in this conference is that to see TechFluent grads to be a presenter. And then I attended your presentation. Yeah, it gave me a lot of hope in me. And then I was so excited for that. And then the other thing was our project was presented. And then I was able to say something related to that project. That was so exciting. I just was expecting a follow-up question and then I didn't say it before. That's why I want to say it now. And so I was so excited, and then I feel that I was privileged. And my piece of advice is, of course, there are people to ask when you navigate, if you miss your place, but if you have time, it's good to explore by yourself before the session is starting. That is my advice, because the other thing is said by my colleagues. Thank you.
Yeah. Just to add on another one of the topics, just like I told Siham earlier, a lot of the people here, some of them are like end users, or some people that are like ISPs or like consultants that are, trying to learn some of the stuff you're into too. Just share your experience with the technology you've been exposed to. Some people have no idea, and you guys have been trained, or we've been trained rather, in the program, and we've had firsthand. I had some people that work in the industry and they're like, gosh, I don't even have a certification. So you are prepared, you have the knowledge, use it to your advantage. And I told Siham, I go and shamelessly talk to people. And especially for conferences like this, I'm like a very shy person otherwise. So I'm always in my room with my cats. But when it comes down to things like this, put yourself out there. You have the knowledge, be confident in the skills that you've gained, because at the end of the day, the people are here as a community and they're there to help you. They might not offer you something right away, but a lot of these things and come from conversations. And me, for example, I just had a random conversation at Summit, and things eventually led on to actually me being hired full time and working with something I didn't even plan. And Liz knows how it all happened. But it's just amazing, because if you talk about the experience you have and the work you've done, and I really like the fact that during the gala, at the TechFluent gala, they showcased the work that they've been working on with Garden. So it was great to see their skills being showcased in front of all the people in the industry. So talk about that more, grab onto the things that you've achieved, personal projects, group projects. Working in a team in itself is just amazing. You get to share what your experience is, what your fortes are. Every person's different, everyone likes something different. So find someone that has the same interest as you, and you will see just a little conversation goes far. So use that to your advantage.
Yeah, and the other thing, the other badge that we carry everywhere we go, we are ambassadors of TechFluent. So anytime we get into a conference like this, before I even start talking about what I do, I say I'm a product of. And a lot of these guys be like, oh, you guys are the graduates. You're like, oh my God. So tell me more about TechFluent. And then I go on, and I'm like, oh my God, how do I get involved in stuff like that? At the summit, I think I gave you about 2-3 referrals. I don't know if they penned out and stuff like that, but yeah, I did send, a couple. So it's a great thing just to be, associated with TechFluent.
I'll just add to that. There were some aha moments for me too. So there were some sessions that I attended, and they were like really senior people were presenting, and they were like telling me about telling how to the best practices and tips, and I was like, this is 98% things that I know. So I was there. I was like, I learned from the best. So Liz and Ellie are my mentors at TechFluent. So I was like, I'm super proud that we are already even though we are beginners, but we are already trying to implement best practices. So I think that was one of like, it made me feel gave me a sense of achievement, and I felt happy that.
Yeah. You know, when I'm sorry, Miriam was talking, and I just remembered something that came to me. When we went to Community Summit and going through some of the sessions, what some of the information I heard was like, wow, this is like foreign, right? It's like new to me, and I didn't understand. But attending this session and having gone through TechFluent and worked on a project, when I went into some of the sessions, certain themes, came into light, and I said to myself, "Huh, that sounds so familiar because I've done it." I've done it, and now I can see that. And even when they're presenting it, I was like, "Oh yeah, that is so for real," because I've experienced it. So I think you know the exposure that we got from TechFluent, cannot be over stated, because we went through trainings and with people who are expert in the industry, just pouring out their time, their expertise onto us, and us to doing projects. And even with the Victory Garden project that Taffy and I did, we were able to use some of those skills that we learned in class to be able to make sure that that project come to fruition or it was successful. And we wouldn't have been able to do that if we didn't go through these trainings and gotten hands-on and know how to navigate through the system, or find out what requirements the client need and what solution we'll be able to utilize to solve those problems. So I mean, I feel like sometimes, the technical aspect is good, but also, as we mentioned, that the soft skills is very, very important, because you may have the technical and then you don't have the soft skills that goes with it. And sometimes clients are looking for the soft skills. They look for someone who is very conversational, or look for someone who is willing to interact with their clients and understands what their needs are, and able to show it to them or demonstrate in a way that they too understand. And how do you present that? By you understanding what the client needs. And if you miss that, then your project is faultless. So I mean, I'm forever grateful for this opportunity. Having been through TechFluent, I know that I am not alone in any area that I find myself in. I have an amazing team. I have awesome, awesome, awesome mentors out there that I know if I reach out to them, they are willing to step in and help anytime, any day. So that just makes me so grateful to be part of this community that cares and wants to ensure that we get the support that we need to be effective out there, and to also empower others to thrive in whatever situation that they find themselves in. So I'm very thankful to be in this community, and I cannot say that enough. So yeah.
All right, thank you guys for all sharing those stories. I was doing a shoe check as I was taking pictures of everybody too, and I'll just say everybody's wearing tennis shoes except for two people.
Yeah,
Liz has
the
got her
flip-flops,
flip-flops
my
on.
fancy flip-flops.
Yep.
I
And
wore
Erika's got her
heels the
on.
first day, and I have a giant blister. So I pack Band-Aids and Advil now for conferences.
Go back to my room.
Yeah.
The first advice I received from someone, the mentor that I was paired with for the first conference we had, the first advice he gave me was, wear comfortable shoes. I know your ladies like to look nice and wear high heels. She said, Christabel, my advice to you, don't do it. She said, don't do it. Wear comfortable shoes, because I tell you, put on a high heel, you will look for a bag to drop that high heel somewhere. So I learned, and I know, hey, it's okay to wear tennis shoes. You can look good up, from top up, but tennis shoes is fine so long as it's business casual. Is good. Yeah.
Thank you, Christabel. Also, one thing I'll add in here from what you guys all said is I think a lot of people look at these conferences and think, wow, there's a ton of learning opportunity, right? There's a lot of information. It's hard to pick different sessions, but arguably the bigger and most important part of the conferences is the community, right? And connecting with each other, making connections, getting potential jobs. Like, heck yeah, that's amazing. And I think that just speaks to how important not only these large community events are, but the smaller events in our individual communities where we live as well. So whether it's Minneapolis, whether it's Texas, whether it's wherever, Seattle, I think it's important to keep an eye out for all those community events in your area as well, because then you can continue to make those connections following the conference. Absolutely. And then in addition to going around and talking to booths, everybody at those booths really wants you to talk to them too. I guarantee it. So don't be shy. I know a lot of people just now gave that advice of walking around and talking to the people at the booths and just making connections, but everyone at these conferences is here to network. And the people who are working the booths would love for you to come up to them and talk to them, and not even just to get the stickers to win the prizes that they're giving away. Maryam, just kidding. But they do. They're here to connect and talk with people. So I think that's really great advice that you all have shared as well.
And one thing that I did last year at the community summit is, if you're afraid of going by yourself, find a partner and just go with someone. I mean, being with someone and just talking to the people at the booths is nice because you're able to interact, find something in common. That's one thing that I always try to ask, like, oh, where are you from? I'm from so and so. Things like that. Find a common topic. Like I said, start talking about things like that. Lead your way into what opportunities you have and things like that, because you never know. Some of these places are hiring and they just don't know. Some places, I just heard something earlier that someone was like doing like a big transition and they're hiring people that don't have experience, but they're willing to take on that risk. And I'm like, well, let me tell you about people that are experienced and do have the skill set. So if you don't mention things like that, you can miss on so many opportunities. So the worst thing that can happen is they will say no, but you never know where that's going to lead you. And a lot of those opportunities are coming from these conferences because people are trying to find the support for their own businesses, but at the same time just getting people in the door one way or another. So utilize that to your advantage.
Yeah, just to add on to what Erika just said, last year at the summit we talked to an ISV, and on our project we kind of hit a gridlock, and we ended up engaging the ISV that we met at the summit. It didn't pan out, but at least we tried the software because we were trying to see if it was going to help our project to be a success. So kudos to you for saying that.
All right, so as we get close to kind of wrapping up time here, I have a challenge for you all. We're going to go in a circle, and I want you all to say one word that sums up your entire experience from this past week. Ooh. All right, Maryam.
I can say it, sorry.
All right, Liz.
Mine's gonna be so easy. Community.
Can I add something before you say something? Well, for me, the most amazing thing coming out of this summit is I talked to the DAG community, and I said I want to open a Zimbabwe chapter for the DAG community. So they're going to help me set that up. So that's going to be
That's great.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah.
I did have conversations with one of the guys earlier about doing that for nonprofits in South America, because I speak Spanish, if you didn't know that. And I was like, oh yeah, that would be great, because I feel like there's so many things that we could do to help people down there too. So it's great that you mentioned that. There's just so many ways to utilize your skills to help people that need it. But a word to describe this week would be insightful. Yeah.
My word will be, as a shy person, engagement.
My word would be networking.
My word will be success.
My word would be inclusion.
I have to answer my own question. I've been concentrating on everybody else. Yeah, I would go with busy.
Yes. Give me some positive words. Tired.
Tired. Yeah, exactly. It's been exhausting, but Liz, did you have any comments before we close out?
We use Copilot to do the sentiment.
Hey, Copilot, please describe DynamicsCon Live for us. No, just thank you. For being here, for recording, for coming to a conference. I know everyone's busy. It's been said, everyone has jobs, families, it's travel, but I'm proud of all of you. I can't wait to see Erika's session that's coming up next. We want to make sure you get to that on time. And so proud of Maryam for presenting, and let's have more presenters at the next conference. If you're listening to this podcast and you want to co-present with one of the TechFluent grads, reach out and we can make that pairing happen. So thank you, and I'm proud of all of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Dynamics Hot Dish, your go-to podcast for all things Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to follow us on social media for even more insights and updates on the latest trends and best practices in business applications and low-code development. We'll be back soon with another delicious serving of Dynamics and Power Platform goodness. Until then, keep innovating and building great solutions.